Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Libra energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Libra energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Libra energy. We've all got to make decisions in our life with our free will, and we kind of battle within ourselves. The bottom row could just represent our comfort zone, and in order to move forward in life differently, we kind of have to let go of some old ways of being or thinking or viewing life or habits, jobs, friendships, relationships. And some people could really be struggling within themselves. They might like to do things differently, but it's just hard to face our fear about doing life differently and having hope and faith and belief in our dreams, get more balanced within ourselves. Libra is represented by the scales of justice. And we can be tipped out of balance, more in our fear and our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our more codependent energy. But it's not a personal reading. We're just going to read it from these different perspectives, and everybody has to listen to their intuition about where they're at in the story. Some people have finished the debate. Some people are going to keep living the life the way they had been. Other people decided to move forward in life differently. And when some people decide to move forward differently, some people in their life are like, hey, that's great, good for you. You do you, I'll do me. But if it's a more kind of like a long-term friendship or romantic relationship, then it's more difficult, because if they're not going to move forward with you in that way, or they have a problem looking at life that way, or if it is about being more just and fair, or it could even just be where you're going to live, your philosophy of life. And sometimes we're just no longer on the same page as people, and sometimes we can just part ways for a while, and sometimes we kind of just realize, we come in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. And sometimes we need to be in friendships, relationships, or jobs for quite a long time till we kind of realize, it might have worked for me before, but it's not working for me now, or something, So we'll see what the cards have to say. At the end, we're going to get some cards out to see what could be a possible outcome that people might not see coming up, or what's coming up that they might not see coming, depending on if people harness a more high vibrational Libra energy or a more shadowy worldly Libra energy. High vibe energy is about being more independent. You've kind of learned some more lessons that maybe some other people haven't learned, like to treat other people the way you like to be treated, to be just, to be fair, to act with character and integrity, grow up, mature yourself. And some people haven't learned those lessons. Some people can be prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, immature. They kind of indulge poor behavior in themselves, and they think other people should indulge them in that poor behavior. So, okay. The reason for the top rose reading is expectation, which could just be having hope and faith. And this is a feminine figure. The feminine figures can talk about how we think and feel. Some people are more hopeful and believing, more optimistic than some other people. This is another feminine figure, again, talking about how we think and feel. Some people are really seduced by themselves, by these things of the world they want to indulge in, by the world, by ego, image, money, materialism, kind of give in to their more immature worldly nature. First, a person would have to see how that kind of manipulates them. If we keep indulging our more immature nature in some regard, it kind of keeps us from kind of growing to our full potential. And some people are okay with that. They like living their life the way they live it. Let's go look at the top row first. We have the Change card, which also has a vehicle on it, so it kind of reminds me of the Chariot card in tarot, which is Cancer energy. Some people are ready for a change. They have been seduced by their more worldly nature also, and they're ready for a change out of love for themselves. And the bottom row can represent that we keep repeating an old pattern kind of over and over and over. How long do we repeat a certain pattern of life till we're like, I'm ready for change? And high vibe people would offer love and encouragement to the people in their life. This is how I'm moving forward. Some things I want to go do. Do you want to come do them with me? Do you want to move forward with me? But you're wanting other people to be in a more emotionally balanced, loving energy. Cancer is emotional water sign energy. Libra is air sign energy of the mind. Some people prefer to live more from their mind than their heart. Other people are more connected in with their emotions and intuition. Some people like to keep their emotions kind of buried under the surface and maybe don't really like to connect in with them that much. They might like to have sex with people. Some people might mistake sex for love. Other people know the difference between sex and love, and high vibe people want emotionally balanced, loving relationships. So then we have family room, which kind of offering yourself love behind the scenes. The family room can mean kind of behind closed doors. And some people have learned to love themselves, offered themselves love and compassion and encouragement so they don't keep getting seduced by their more immature worldly nature. And they work through their mixed thoughts that they have about it because, you know, there is all these things of the world that we'd like to move forward with also. But the murky thoughts kind of reminds me of a Five of Wands, a Five of Swords, a Seven of Swords. We have a dream. We're trying to accomplish something. I have a vision for my life. And it is challenging, but again, high vibe people offer love to all of that emotional confusion and mental confusion. Then we have the thoughts card with the masculine figure on it, so that makes me think of the King of Swords, which is Libra energy. At least I view it as Libra energy. You know, we have to, and at different times in our life, we could be moving forward in a way. And then, you know, sometimes we got to stop and pause, like, wait a minute. Why am I moving forward the way I'm moving forward? What about the people I'm hanging out with? Why are they moving forward with me? Are we all on the same page? Do we have the same truth? Are some people creating the illusion that they're motivated to be more just and fair and truthful and loving in a relationship? But is that just an illusion they create? Are they more motivated by ego or image or money and materialism? What about the people in my life? Is there people I've kind of distanced myself from that really might be the people who are more on the same page as me? Or am I currently working with people who are more on the same page as me? And as some of you are moving forward, it could make other people kind of question what their truth is. Maybe I should move forward with this person. Or, you know, just sometimes we have to, high vibe people don't want to make a decision out of lust and greed and pride and ego. And other high vibe people don't want other people coming towards them in shadowy energy. You just stay where you're at. If you want to come towards me and you're in your lust or your greed or your pride or your ego, just stay where you're at, you know? So high vibe people are maintaining balance within themselves, and they're speaking their truth to other people in their life who they do think are emotionally balanced and motivated and inspired by truth and love. This is how I'm moving forward. Do you want to come with? Then we have the fulfillment card. You know, we want to live our life in a way, feminine figure, so how we think and feel, that we find emotionally fulfilling. And sometimes we're moving forward with people and we could think they're more about indulging themselves in a relationship. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to keep moving forward with them. I used to think they were more love-based, but now I'm kind of starting to think that they might live more from their mind than their heart. And it's kind of more about, I'm the loving person, and they're kind of indulging themselves in the relationship, you know? Who's who in my life? Who is more emotionally independent? Who seems more balanced, just, fair, loving? Who seems to be more about ego and image and indulgence? And I guess the routine card maybe kind of makes me kind of think of a Six of Pentacles or a Six of Cups, Scorpio Taurus energy. Who's willing to do equal give and take because that's the truth of who they are? Instead of, well, I want to do equal give and take with you, and I'll attempt to do equal give and take with you in a just and fair manner, but it's more because of what they can get out of it, you know? High vibe energy is where you really are who you say you are, not trying to manipulate people for ulterior purposes, right? And we might have to take some time again to pause and really think. And like we're doing that, other people are doing that in the world. What is it that drives and motivates me? What do I think is just and fair? What do I find emotionally fulfilling? What about the people I'm in relationship with? And then we have the woman card, and it has Taurus written on it. Taurus can have to do with our philosophy of life. Do we have the same philosophy of life? I can think certain things are just and fair. Do other people think it's just and fair? Taurus energy and shadowy energy can be more about things of the world. It's Earth sign energy, more about image and status and money and materialism. You know, that's why some people can want to be in relationships with people. That would make me look victorious and successful. Who should I get in a relationship with? Other people are like, I do want to be in relationships with people. Who do I think will more indulge me in a relationship? You know? And we have to think about all these different people that we've come in contact with in our life, because we've probably known people that seem very loving, very insightful. They do this work within themselves to maintain balance within themselves. Then we might know some people who kind of really get up in their head, and then they don't know if they want to move forward, if they want to go backwards, you know, can't decide what would make them happy. Libra is also represented by the Two of Swords, which can be, I kind of want both. It's like, well, other people in the world are picking a path. Some people picked a path a long time ago. With our dualistic nature, am I going to build my life and my foundations and my relationships, letting love and intuition be the guiding factor in my life and my decisions? Or is it, and still being just, being fair, being balanced, you know, our stability and our security and our creative inspired nature, all those things are equally important. Are we more independent of our shadow nature and the world and other people? Or are we more codependent? Are some people more emotionally detached and shadowy Libra energy? Are they more bossy and controlling? Are they kind of more about themselves? Are they kind of more materialistic about ego and image? Do they use their emotions, their sexuality, their traits, their characteristics, their assets, all these things to try to manipulate people? Who is telling the truth and who isn't? Some people you've already seen the truth of, and it could have, with the murky thoughts, been confusing because initially, and for a long time while you knew them, you could have thought they were this more, someone who wasn't more indulgent of their more immature nature or fear, insecurity, or being more about themselves or more materialistically motivated. And some people you've seen the truth of. And those people you could have already spoken your truth to, or you will be, or you have, but you're standing in your truth here. And you're protecting that I want to be respected as like my own individual, because high vibe energy is about being independent. I've learned to offer love to myself, so I get out of more codependent energy of like looking for someone to replace my mom or dad and care for me in a more codependent way. No, I've learned to give myself that cup of love. I've put in this work and effort to learn how to offset my own fears and insecurities and love and be loving and encouraging, like being my own best mother, father, coach voice to myself, to love myself, to maintain balance within myself, feeling stable and grounded within myself. And high vibe energy would be I want to be in friendships, workplaces, and relationships with other emotionally mature people. We can't pick everybody that like we work with. There's a hodgepodge of people. But the people I want to invest more of my time, energy, and effort into to being more invested in getting to know them as friendships, dating them, being in more involved relationships with them, are not the people who use their emotions manipulatively, who turn their back on being more emotionally independent from their own shadow nature and the world. I want to be in relationships with people who have emotionally grown and matured themselves, are more independent, aren't looking for someone to be the answer to their problems, like a codependent relationship. I want to be an emotionally mature, balanced, authentic, loving relationships. And just like you're moving forward and could be moving forward in that energy, there's other people that have already moved on ahead of you, and you've moved on ahead of other people, and everybody's kind of looking to find the people in a way who are on the same page as them. We could be hoping that some people in our life, whether that's our adult children, our siblings, our parents, friends, romantic interests, we could have distanced ourselves from some people because we could have felt like they were trying to use the love that they knew we had for them to try to manipulate us or control us, or they made some bad decisions in their life or showed us they weren't willing to be more independent and they could be more codependent on other people or the world, more manipulated to indulge themselves in things of the world to define their worth and value or make them feel better instead of doing this work within themselves to heal and grow and mature themselves. And we can always hope that other people will work through those issues one day. But in the meantime, from some people, we're standing in our truth and maintaining our independence from those people because they still have some of these issues to work through within themselves. And until they do, we're not on the same page. What drives and motivates us and what we want to invest our time, energy, and effort into is different. And there can come a time, while we're doing this work within ourselves, we can, love can be open to people all the time, but I'm going to take action to bring those things that I can bring into reality right now in my life. If that's friends and family and jobs and all that stuff, that's what I'm going to focus my time and energy on. I can only work with other people who are speaking the truth and communicating with me. If other people are moving forward with other people, going in a different direction, I need to see the truth of it. And then I need to put in work and effort to bring the things that I want to manifest in my life into reality. So let's go look at the bottom row. Like I say, there can be people in our life and things we'd kind of like to go indulge ourselves in. But if we've already seen the truth that if I take action more out of pride, ego, lust, greed, it's probably not going to go the way I want it to go because I'm kind of planting bad seeds and I want to have an abundant harvest. If I go into more shadowy energy, there's lots of people who might want to be friends with me or be in a relationship with me, but they're in shadowy energy. And I've already maybe been in lived my life like that, or been in more mismatched relationships. I'm done kind of trying to change anyone. I might have done that before, but everybody has to make that free will choice. And if people can get people to get in a relationship with them, when people can see, oh, I'm not very loving, I'm bossy, I'm more materialistic, I'm kind of defensive, I'm kind of emotionally detached, well, there's no incentive for them to change because I've already got people to get kind of indulge them in being in that energy. And we shouldn't expect other people to change. We offer people love and encouragement, and we learn to keep our distance from people when we see that, oh yeah, they have some traits and characteristics that seem to manipulate them, that they're not kind of more over here. And I've already been in relationships with people that kind of were in their shadow nature, and it didn't move forward the way I wanted. So let's go look at the bottom row. Sudden wealth, the moon, sun, caregiver, gift, mature man, fish, and unlocking. So the way this could be interpreted is, we all want these things. There's things of the world that we want to have in our life, right? And that we want to manifest. High vibe people want an emotionally balanced, loving relationship. And we're also looking with the sudden wealth. We could, people are looking for people who seem to be stable and secure. And sometimes one person can be more abundant emotionally, and one person can be more abundant with things of the world. And that kind of relationship can work if both people respect and value what the other person contributes to and brings to the table. Are we willing to exchange resources with someone? And I value what the loving, encouraging, supportive people bring. And if someone did have more of stability and security, that relationship can work if those people value what you bring to the relationship, that it's equally as important. But some people don't. Some people think that because I might have some of these things in the world, which are some of the things the high vibe people have too. They could be attractive, they could be charming, they could have social clout, they could have stability or security in their life. But high vibe people don't think because they have that abundance within them that then for some reason the scales should be tipped in their favor in the relationship, where they're kind of have this illusion in the moon card that they should be indulged in their ego. And that people should be like a caregiver to them, like a loving person to them because they have these things. But some people view life that way. Well, what I bring to the table is more important than what you bring to the table, because I could have these things of the world. You're loving and nurturing and supportive and more independent and more balanced or just or fair. You could have a mix of both. I have some stability and security. I could, have some of the charm and the charisma and the looks and loving nature, but the main thing could be maybe the loving nature. And other people have more of those things of the world. And sometimes some people do think, whether they're male or female, if they kind of think because of those things that they've got, traits, qualities, or characteristics, they're not seeing things clearly. The moon can talk about that they kind of have some illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. Some of them could be a little full of themselves in their ego. Like, I look this way or have these things. People should want to invest in me, make a gift to me, view me as a gift. They might have some healing to do that they haven't worked on and might not work on. And if some of them are kind of quite full of themselves, the mature man, in shadow, the masculine cards can represent that people are just operating more from their ego nature than their more emotionally intuitive nature. And there could be other people in the world who also operate more from their worldly egoic nature, who want to be in relationships with other people who kind of are more about indulging in these things of the world or making their life about those things of the world. And again, Pisces energy, like the moon card, you know, I'm sure I'll be happy if I make my life about those things. I don't think I have to get more balance within myself. I don't think I have to work through these things that I might keep buried beneath the surface, my past pain and heartbreak, or my fears, or my insecurities, or my pride, or my ego, or whatever. You know, still kind of having this illusion, maybe that they're the boss, or that they can control things. High vibe people have gotten caught up in things of the world. They've gotten caught up in the illusion of the ego and all these things that they're sure will make them happy. But then as they could have been kind of moving forward in those things, you know, then it can be kind of confusing because it's like, wait a minute. I thought if I did this, I wore this, I got in these kind of relationships, I got in this career field, got this kind of job, had this type of certain status or whatever, or in relationships with certain people, that I thought, you know, by worldly standards, it could look very victorious, but I still can, you know, it doesn't solve all our problems, just having these things of the world. And we've all at any time have some of our issues that we've been carrying around for us, and we all could have been in more codependent energy at one time. And then it does start to make us think about, you know, I used to think if I drank this, ate that, dated this, got married, did this, you know, that I'd be happy. I'd feel more emotionally balanced within myself, that things would be just and fair. And that can start to make us think, you know, again, we come in contact, we go pursue all these things, we get in these different types of relationships, we meet all these different types of people to help us get clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. And our more emotionally high vibrational nature wants us to see the truth, to see through the illusion. The things of the world are meant to be enjoyed. It was like a gift given to us. And there's lots of things to go enjoy in the world. But we should keep it in perspective where we don't give those things so much power over our life. It kind of makes us sick, you know? Some people look to drugs and booze. Some people look to relationships. Those are the answer for me to feel better and to be happy and free me from my fears and my insecurities. But that's kind of an illusion. And we could give those things too much power and influence in our life. And the true gift is learning to see the truth, because the truth sets us free, that I'm supposed to love myself. I'm supposed to stand up for what I believe in, be just, be fair, want to not indulge poor behavior in myself or others, to be more independent of my shadowy, egoic, immature, me kind of nature. Because I want to feel proud of myself that if I'm going to go out in the world and present myself as harnessing high vibe Libra energy, that I'm this just and fair and stable and grounded and loving person, that's who I really want to be. I don't want to be riddled with my fear or my insecurity or hiding that I'm much more immature or have some addictions or whatever. You know, I really want to be who I say I am. And so I've kind of seen through some illusions and some people in my life. I might have been repeating a past pattern where I did think I could change people and I did get in relationships with people, who maybe kind of my intuition was telling me, I don't think we're really on the same page. I think they are kind of more seduced by the world, either being about themselves or these things they indulge in, or ego and image. And I really am more, my truth is, I am more motivated by love, and maybe also being more independent, because I don't like the world trying to dictate to me my worth and value, or making my worth and value based on if I wear this or drive that or have this much money. I've intrinsically got value because I'm a creative, inspired, loving human being. If I have to wear certain clothes or do certain things or talk to certain people to be accepted, I don't know that I even want to hang around those people. I want to be around other people who are more independent, who aren't judging people and wanting to be in friendships and relationships with people just because of what they look like and what they wear and what they drive and how much money they have. And other people completely want to be part of that crowd. Because if we define our worth and value based on those things, we're really going to want to hang out with people who are like that. And some of you could have been in some friendships or relationships with people, and if they kind of view relationships, a more shadowy Taurus type relationship would be, because Taurus does have to do with relationships and workplaces and marriage and how we view life. Some people do think, whoever has more of the things that someone wants, that person should indulge, like be a caregiver, indulge someone who might be a little sick, in a sense that they're bossy, controlling, stubborn, deceptive, manipulative, you're either being truthful and honest and just and fair, or you just create the illusion of being that type of person, but really they're kind of not, and they might be kind of superficial and shallow. Well, but some people think, well, that's what life is. That's what everybody does. It's like, no, that's not what everybody does. But that can be how some people view life and relationships. We all want these things, right? Well, so it's to find the people that have those things that you want. If they have more of those things of the world that you want, then you should indulge them. And then if they get in relationships with people and they think they have more of those things of the world that people want, then they could think people should indulge them. A more transactional relationship. And there's some people that are kind of caught up in that more egoic view of relationships, and they are sure that is the key to success, and that is what drives them and motivates them. You could have been in relationships with people who turned their back to you because you were more independent emotionally, whether you're male or female, from this kind of way of viewing life, but they're really caught up in it. And so if they saw someone who, the Chariot, is kind of about looking victorious and successful in life, maybe those people came into sudden wealth somehow. Or I don't know, grew into their looks, or who knows, whatever they got that somebody else thinks makes them look victorious or successful or abundant, and they think it would make them look that way too. And then some people are just social climbers, I know I'll get in a relationship with this person. This person looks maybe emotionally loving, just, fair, independent, stable, grounded. And then once I've kind of learned, because shadowy people who live more from their mind than their heart, it can be just picking up traits and characteristics of how different people handle things. It's like, oh, I'm going to put that in my toolbox. And again, it's not really authentically who they are, but then they try to go out in the world like they're a more stable, grounded, emotionally balanced, loving person than they are, because they've learned these things from other people, but it's not really coming from their heart. It's just to another piece of the mental construct to try to make people view them a certain way. And then it's like trying to catch a bigger fish. Now that I was in that friendship or relationship, I feel like people view me differently than they might have viewed me before, think I might have more traits and qualities and characteristics than they thought I had before. And then once I've gotten what I wanted from those people, which might have been to learn those things from them, then I'll go look to someone else who I think where it's more advantageous for me in some way. But again, some people are just creating an illusion that they're more high vibrational than they really are. And they try to maybe get in relationships with people who are more the real deal. And the loving people can be people who do like to nurture and care for people. But as the relationship goes, the high vibe people think it is going to become a more emotionally deep, meaningful relationship, and that people really are more independent of their egoic nature of the past, and that they really are going to be someone who walks the talk, high vibe Taurus energy. And they maybe invest in those people, not realizing that the other person, I'm saying illusion here with the fish card because it says Pisces energy. They don't have to be a Pisces, but people can just try to confuse people about the truth and kind of create an illusion of who they are. Some people could even create the illusion they love someone when it's all kind of strategy. This would be good for my ego and my image. This would look like I've changed. This will look like I've healed. This would look like I'm not the same person I was before. And that's how some people live their life. And it's, again, more from ego, thinking I don't really have to do love. Because if I do love, I get hurt. And I might not let my more abundant, intuitive, authentic nature, like kind of like high vibe Virgo, high vibe Cancer, Pisces, high vibe Leo. No, that one I decided to not work with. I thought the gift was I'm going to operate from my ego and I'm just going to create this illusion about who I am. Then I can be in relationships, indulge myself in relationships, and I won't get hurt. And then they try to take that out onto the road with people. The only thing is, they can wear a very good false mask. They can look very stable, grounded, emotionally nurturing and loving, and but if they can't stop other people from listening to their intuition. And again, some of us got in these kind of mismatched relationships because our intuition could have been screaming at us too. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't know. I don't think we're on the same page. And, but we really want those things that we want in the world. And so sometimes we kind of turned our back on maintaining balance within ourselves, loving ourselves, believing in ourselves. And because we wanted those things of the world, we kind of didn't listen to our intuition. And then we had these valuable lessons to learn in life. And then once we realized, oh, I was thinking somebody would change, but they have to make that free will choice on their own. They are who they are. They view life the way they view it. Their truth is their truth. What makes them feel stable and grounded and balanced and what drives and motivates them is different than me. So then we kind of realize, we need to distance ourselves from those people, work through that mental confusion and stand up for what we believe in. And then those people will probably go try to create this illusion with someone else. And some people did do something kind of maybe behind the scenes that could have caused some conflict and fighting and illness, like in a relationship. Because if you haven't learned these lessons to temper your fear, your insecurity, your prideful nature, your immature nature, when things come up in a relationship and people kind of give in to those more immature ways of being, other people in their life are going to have a problem with it. It's like, wait a minute, you seem to be doing something that doesn't seem to be in alignment with the person that I thought you were. And it's confusing, and people have a hard time with it, and they don't really want to leave the job, the friendship, or the relationship because they put in work and effort to make things work, and having that hopeful nature, believing other people will do this work. But then sometimes when other people indulge themselves in poor behavior and other people kind of let them get away with it, that's when some people think like I hold the key to their heart. And because they love me, and because we've put some work and effort together to make this seem like this victorious, successful new beginning, I think basically I can get away with this. And they won't stand up for themselves. They won't speak the truth. They won't demand more justice and fairness. They won't become independent of me. They won't require me to walk the talk, and then they also won't walk the talk to stand up for what they believe in. But eventually, there's kind of judgment day, right? And eventually, people can extend people grace. But there comes a time when people stand up for what they believe in. Love is supposed to be just and fair. People are supposed to treat me the way I treat them. And I can have compassion for people about their own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs. But there comes a time, are they going to accept that free will gift to see the truth and deal with the truth? Or are they not? And I'm going to speak my truth. I am offering you a gift to move forward with me in a just and fair and balanced and loving relationship. But you need to be in that energy. There are things you need to become independent of. Whatever illusions you might have about what it means to be in a relationship, that needs to be cleared up, because that I'm no longer moving forward in illusion. People are either really walking the talk or they're not. And I am willing to become independent of you. I can love people and keep my distance from them. Move away from them. Get out of friendships and relationships, or leave a job, or get out of a relationship or a marriage. If it is not, people are not being just and fair, truthful, authentic, loving, I don't want to maintain an illusion. I do not want to be manipulated by my ego, and I don't want to be manipulated by people who say they love me, but they try to use the love that I have for them to indulge them in poor behavior. And that can be when some people are shocked, like, wow, I can't believe you're standing up for your... And that could have been the whole purpose of the relationship, was to get some people to stand up for themselves, because maybe that was something you didn't really want to do. And it could have been something that made you do this work within yourself to love yourself and believe in yourself, and for you to take that gift of love. I'm not going to settle for an illusion of love. It has to be the real deal. And if it's not, you can go manipulate or seduce someone else. And I will do this work within myself to see the truth of it. And when I have done the work within myself emotionally, and in balance within myself, and ready to go back to taking action on my dreams, I'll do that. As some of you are moving forward, you're going to meet different people in your life. Could be people from your past who pop up. It could be people in your present. It could be people in your future. You're going to meet all sorts of people who try to present themselves as just and fair people. Now you've learned to listen to your intuition. I'm not going to let my fear and my insecurity and my lust and my more codependent nature run my life. I'm going to listen to my intuition, communicate with people my truth and lessons I've learned. Some poor behavior I've kind of indulged in other people that I'm no longer willing to indulge. And when you tell your truth to some of those people that come in your life, they'll be like, oh, well, okay, maybe you can go. I'll maybe go see if I can go get in a relationship with someone else. Okay, you go do that. Because the only people I want moving forward with me are other people who are like, you know what, I've been through the same thing. And I don't want to repeat that old pattern either. And you'll have people in your life that you are willing to stand up and defend. And there'll be people in your life who are willing to stand up and defend you. And if there's other people that are like, oh, well, I can't really decide. I like to go back and forth. I kind of like to do the ego and the image and be indulged. And then maybe those people that are kind of shadowy or manipulative and not very loving. And then I like to try to get in relationships with loving people because that's great. But then I kind of want to be more indulged or more materialistic or whatever. And then I want to go back and do that. And you're like, no. You just just take me out of the equation. I am not an option. You go find someone else. And the people who are willing to speak the truth and say, hey, as we've gotten to know each other, I feel like you and me are on the same page. And I think we do have the same philosophy of life. And I think you're more independent like me and you're not caught up in this shit. You're not trying to manipulate or control people. I think you're authentic and honest, and those are people you'll move forward with. Okay, what's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Libra energy that they might not see coming? And we also need to listen because we can have other people in our life, people we know have other people in their life who try to stop them from being more independent and listening to their intuition and try to get them up in their head and tell them they should repeat this old pattern and make their life about these things because that's maybe how they live their life and they want them to keep hanging out with them or letting these people control them, even if they're just a friend or a sibling. I don't want you to be more independent. I don't want you to hang out with those people who are authentic and loving and encouraging. You'd go create the life of your dreams and I'd be back here living my life like this. I want you to live your life like this too. We've got to listen to our intuition. Who are the people who are being authentic and just and loving and nurturing and supportive? Is that our truth? Is that the type of person we want to be in return? And if it's not, tell people, I am kind of more about, be honest, I am more about these things, or I am kind of like to make my life more about indulging in these things. And if you don't, then we're not on the same page. But so many people just don't want to be honest. Live your authentic life. Go find people who view life the same way you do. High vibe, low vibe, or whatever. What's coming up for the high vibe people that they might not see coming? The Six of Swords. Why? Because of the Queen of Pentacles. As we do this work within ourselves, when we're ready, and the whole time we're kind of living our life, doing what we're doing, but when our intuition tells us, this is the truth. This is what I should invest in. You've done this work emotionally to invest in loving and believing in yourself, keeping things in perspective, looking at life from the big picture. I'm probably going to live 80 years. There are these things that I want, but if there's not people in my life that are the right people for me to work together with, I got other things I can invest my time, energy, and effort into me, my unique talent, skills, and interests, my job, my friends. I'm going to keep living my life so that when someone comes in my life who does seem to be on the right same page as me, I can move forward with those people. Some people would like to move forward with some other people in life, but it's like, oh, I had the opportunity to do that work within myself and maintain balance within myself and be stable, be more independent, but I was kind of seduced by these things of the world and things that I kind of got caught up in those things. And some of those people created an illusion with whoever they got tangled up with that this was the life of their dreams. And in order to move forward, living their more authentic life, they'd have to speak the truth. And some people aren't willing to do that. So, that's how our shadowy nature can get us trapped, and shadowy energy at the big picture represented by the devil are all these things that limit us, oppress us, confine us, and imprison us. And some people, even though they could be moving forward with something that looks very victorious and successful, they could know that it's really not aligned with their truth, but they're not willing to maybe free themselves from it. They'd have to maybe do this work within themselves to love and believe in themselves, to work through the conflict they have about, do I make my life more about these things or more about me? Do I have hope and faith and belief in my dreams? Am I more emotionally independent? Am I willing to speak my truth? High vibe people are. And you might have known some people. The Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords. There can be some people in our life who they do want to win at all costs. It really is just about them. Their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego, male or female. And they don't really care who they hurt. It's just all about them looking victorious. How can I get the most status, image, attention, or be indulged the most in a relationship? And it's all about trying to manipulate people for whatever it is that they want. And other people have seen the truth of it and they're moving on. And anybody that they've known that's kind of more creates an illusion, is more about themselves or their ego, has some issues to heal from, but they don't want to deal with the truth of it, might be kind of a little more bossy or controlling or manipulative. Other people have seen the truth of it and they're distancing from those people and investing in their dreams, which the Queen of Pentacles can be workplaces, friendships, relationships, dating, marriage. They're taking action to go bring their dreams into reality. What's coming up for some people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Libra energy that they don't see coming up? This card not showing itself because of the Star card, the Death card. When people kind of act in these kind of more immature, to whatever degree of way of being, they're always going to have some high vibe people in their life that are that want to be in friendships and relationships with them, that have been offering them this gift of love to move forward with them in this more just and fair way, more independent way. But some of the shadowy people are like, well, no, I don't value that as much as you value it. I'm kind of more about these things. Or there's these other people in my life that I'm more codependent on. And if they're not moving forward like that, then I'm not going to move forward like that. And they have some high vibe people in their life. What they don't see coming is some high vibe people aren't going to keep repeating the same pattern over and over and over. The death card can be that things are emotionally shallow, superficial, they're stagnant, nothing is changing. High vibe people are about going on this adventure in life to learn these lessons. Let's face our fears. Let's step out of our comfort zone. Let's bring this dream into reality. But the shadowy people are not trying to show people that I'm not willing to change. I want to keep moving forward the way I have been moving forward. I don't want to give birth to anything new. And eventually the high vibe people in their life see the truth of it. My dream isn't going to come into reality here. And I'm not going to keep moving forward with people who don't want to do love, who don't want to change, who don't want to look at life from a higher perspective. If they want to keep repeating this pattern, that's fine. Go live your life, but I'm not going to keep repeating this pattern. Why? Because I look at life differently. My dreams are different than your dreams. My whole life isn't about looking like a shining star in the world, isn't the most important thing to me. Ego and image and money isn't the most important thing to me, but it is to others. And they're going to have some high vibe people who leave their life. And then these people will be like, damn, those people unlocked the truth. Shit, now I got to go find someone else to try to go get in a relationship with. Create this illusion all over again with someone else. Oh, you should view me as the answer to all your problems. Oh, did something happen in your life that didn't work out for you? Oh, I am the answer to your problems. Don't love and believe in yourself. Be codependent on me. Think I am the answer to all your problems. I'm going to be codependent on you. Oh, and don't ever look at life from any other perspective. Don't ever change. Don't ever shed any of your baggage, because I'm not going to shed any of mine. And if they can find someone who also, shadowy Scorpio, the death card, some people are more, don't want to be more independent of living more from their mind and emotionally be in more authentic, deep, meaningful relationships. For some people, that would throw them out of balance, and they're not ready for it yet. So they also might have other people who are coming towards them who also don't like change, also don't really like to be in deep, meaningful relationships, who are more about being in a relationship, to be in a relationship, codependency reasons, ego, image, money. Hey, that works for me. Well, that would be a just and fair relationship. High vibe people realize that it was like dead. There's nothing ever changed, and it was emotionally shallow and superficial. And high vibe people didn't want that. Teach their own. Wasn't for me. I'm going to go find people more motivated and inspired by love, emotionally healing and growing and maturing themselves, making their life more than letting their fear or their ego or whatever run their life. And some people aren't there yet, may never want to be there. That's not their idea of the dream life. And if they can find someone, I just think people can end up, I was just reading because a quote came up in a movie theater. Actually, it was kind of surprising because it was like on the back of his t-shirt, and it's like, where's that quote from? And I looked it up, and it was actually, I think, a Bible verse from 1 Corinthians, but it was the same thing where it's like, I can have all these things in the world, but if I don't have love, it's like this resounding gong. It's like hollow and shallow. And that's what some people are going to hide. They're going to have all these things of the world that look like they have got it going on. And they're going to hide from the world that it's not because of love. It's because the ego and the image and the status. But they'll try to create the illusion it's love. But other people see the truth. People can see who's being more materialistic. who's kind of creating an illusion and who seems to be the real deal and who seems to be more authentic and who seems to be more driven by those things and who isn't more driven by those things. And living the dream life can just be, I want to go indulge in all these things. That's what makes it look like I'm living the dream life. But they're kind of not emotionally growing and maturing themselves, maybe. So there you go, Libra. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.